Well, so we are live again, and I have recharged my battery on my drill, and we are going to poke some holes in this Affinity Strat. And my drill chuck is too wimpy. Go. So this is a little 12-volt drill, and it kind of sucks for doing this, but we will continue. I'm going in reverse here just to keep the drill from tearing up the headstock of this guitar. I have a block of wood underneath here that is helping keep the back side of this from blowing out. And we'll continue to move forward with this. I'm increasing these holes to a 3/8 inch hole size. Alright, here we go. These are going through nice and smooth and clean. I appreciate the advice on using a block of wood underneath this. It was very helpful. You know, stuff like that kind of eludes me sometimes. I forget these little tricks of the trade. So we're getting the block underneath here, and I got 2 more holes to drill. Hopefully my battery holds out that long. It's an old drill, and it is a little bit wimpy, but I'm going reversed, and then I'm going forward. I'm using the reverse pattern initially just to kind of get the hole started. Okay, one more. Here we go. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a great Monday so far. Here in Oregon, what we have to look forward to is it starts raining on Friday afternoon, and then it gets sunny on Monday. That's kind of our usual weekend weather forecast and common practice with it when it comes to weekend weather. Okay, and I've got these two. I've got to get a little bit further, so I'm going to finish off drilling these first 2 holes right here. So we'll get our block of wood back on here. I didn't quite drill deep enough, so we'll get through here. I was a little conservative, I guess, on my my hole. Let me move this block. Got to get it just right. It's been a long weekend. I got a lot done this weekend, and had some fun doing some live streaming, guitar playing and stuff at home. It was really a great time. Here we go. Gotten through that one. Gotten through that one now. Lots of wood chips blowing all over the place. Whoop, there we go. I'll clean up all these wood chips when I'm done. But yeah, pretty cool. Here's what my wood block looks like after I'm done drilling holes. All right, okay, so let's get our tape off of here, and we'll clean up these edges. But that's what our point was, to try and stop anything blowing out today. Hope everybody's doing good. Missing remote review part 2. Hey, Mountain Man, hello. Hey you guys, thanks for stopping in today. It's a Monday, and I am gladly back to work. I love working, and I hope that this video might help you be able to work on your own guitar at home, or if you encounter needing to do something like what I'm doing. I've done this many times, and hopefully my experience will help you not potentially mess up your guitar. My goal here is to always do a job as best as I can, and to do it as if I'm working on a, I don't know, $50,000 Martin, something like that. Now, let's see. We've got 3 and 3. I'm sorry, we got a six-way machine head install here, so 6 on one side, and the hole is ever so slightly small. I'm going to flip this guitar over. We'll take a look at so the holes I drilled are actually slightly too small, which is okay. I'd rather sneak up on it than go too far too fast. Yeah, so, and when you're doing these, you have to be very careful. Hopefully the camera is pointed in the right direction. You have to be very careful. You've got to drill the hole big enough, because you've got this wood grain going across here, and if you force this through here, this will crack. At 100% it will crack, especially if your name is Marshall, and you'll end up having to fix something that you've already done. So the last drill bit I used was a 3/8, and so I'm going to go for the smallest. I don't have, unfortunately, I don't have a set of metric drill bits, so I'm going to go 1/64 of an inch, so we'll have a little bit of play on this. Hopefully my drill bit's big enough. Yeah, it is. So 25/64, which is not quite a ½ inch, and I'm going to, again, I'm not going to put the tape on the top because I'm going to go in reverse. I'm going to reverse my drill bit as I start these holes, and I'm drilling from the top to the back, so if any blowout happens, it happens on the back side of this guitar, because it can happen, but we'll just we'll be sure not to let that happen. It's great to see everybody, and I'm going to try and keep up on the chat as best I can, but I've got to stay busy. I am at work right now, so I'm going to reverse the drill bit and kind of start this hole on the top side. And actually, with these ones, I'm going to go all the way through in reverse. All right, then I'm going to go forward. Make sure I've got a nice clean hole. Okay, and I just sneaking up on the depth. I'm sorry, on the size of the hole, to make sure that I just don't go too far with one push. And I'm going in reverse here. My drill is spinning backwards, which really does a great job of cleaning up the edge of the hole. Here we go. And a lot of those wood chips you see pouring out of there are just the block on the back of this. So let me move this, and it would probably be best to do this with a drill press. All right. And just finishing the hole off. Finishing the hole off with a forward motion. And this is what is known in the plumbing world as a hole stretcher. There we go. We're almost there. We have 2 more to go. 2 more, and I need to move this wood block just a little bit because I'm not covering the full hole on the far end here. And hopefully you guys can see okay. I think my camera guy, he might be a little bit sober right now. Here we go. Woohoo! The drill bit gets a little bit hot. Went right through that. Look like a bull in a china shop, right? Here we go, Mountain Man. I do, but I just wing it. Yep. It's worked out pretty well so far. Yeah, except for an old 12-string Fender I ruined. Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. I have an old 12-string Fender that if I ruined it, it would definitely be heartbreaking. Definitely be heartbreaking. Love the old Fender. My old Fender Electric 12. I do have one. It's the same one that Tom Petty uses, and the same one that's oh, what's his name? Little guitar player from a little band called oh yeah, Led Zeppelin. Recorded a really famous song with that one. We've got a little bit of chip out here, but I believe that the nuts will cover this. I know, you can do it cleaner, I know. It's nice to have a little bit of leniency on underneath these machine heads, so that you don't have to worry too much about blowing the guitar up. So we will see. Now those fit nice and tight. Now the important part on these is to get them good and straight. Now I need to find, here we go. So here's the hardware that came with these Music Lily machine heads. So this is my process of doing it. I usually put these nuts on the top, nuts and washers on the top, and I always check the washers to see if they have a design on the top part of them, but they're kind of dull on this side and they're a little bit more finished on this side. So we'll use that side up, and we'll put these in. And I've got a little wrench here that I'll tighten them up with. We'll just get them all kind of started here. I'm not sure. And then again, the important part is really getting the machine heads to lay nice and straight. And again, I got to look at these. That's the nicer side of that. These aren't the nicest, shiniest washers that they send with the Music Lily machine heads. They're not like bright, shiny chrome. But these are great. He wants locking machine heads on his guitar, so I'm happy to put these on for him. Yes, there are more expensive ones out there. I bought Spurtzels and put them on my Gibson SG, and they work fantastically. Oop. There we go. It worked great. Just and if you want to offer me any advice, I'm happy to listen. Oop. Got some screws down in that one. Interesting. How is that even possible? Huh. So, you know, never forget who you're messing with here. My name is Marshall Turner, and when something can go wrong, it will definitely go wrong. See those screws? They're just wedged inside this. Ah, there they go. Finally got them out of there. Okay. And, you know, just the little things that would take up just a little extra time will pretty much always happen to me. That's just my luck. But it teaches me to overcome, to improvise, and get stuff right, even though it's not right as it should be. There you go. Okay, so this has got a little bit of chip out here. Let me get this out of the way. I know you guys are all probably cringing watching me do this. But this is how you get stuff done quickly so that you can save your client some money on the repair of their instrument and make it look good. And any of the little imperfections are pretty much, not pretty much, they are hidden. Now on the back of this, I got to decide. Now I'm doing this. I may have to pull these out. I'm just thinking about it. I kind of got ahead of myself here. I may have to plug a few holes in the headstock because the old machine heads had two screws that held them in place. So we're going to flip this over and see what that's looking like here. But let's just kind of get them started. And we'll just screw them in so that they're all shaped. How's that? That'll look nice, I think. What do you think? I got them nice and straight on that? No, totally joking. Okay, sarcasm. Okay. Okay, so just looking at how these are going to align here. And we definitely have holes shown on the back of this, and I am going to plug those for the owner of this instrument. So we're going to go ahead and pull these machine heads back off of here. We're going to plug all, let's see, I don't know how many holes we got. 1, 2, 3. Are there 3 holes on every machine head? I'm going to have to plug them all, and I'm going to use probably just use toothpicks because they will fill the holes, and it'll look a little bit nicer than not filling them. I don't have to do that, but I'd rather just to kind of help strengthen what those screw holes, because the screw holes in these machine heads are often where a Stratocaster style neck or a Telecaster, that's where they crack. Is on those screw holes. If you've ever done this before or swapped out machine heads or tried to put one in that didn't fit the hole real well, you've cracked one before probably, which I did that to my own guitar. I'm not ashamed to admit my imperfection, my work. This one doesn't want to thread in real well. These threads are not the greatest on all of these. They're kind of probably roughly cut at whatever factory they're built at in the world. Who knows? China, I think. Where are these made? Made in China, yep. Okay, but you can't compete with that for the money. When you go and buy something made in the USA or Sweden or Germany, like a Spursel or a, you know, something other than Music Lily. And this young man has brought several guitars in and allowed me to work on them. So I've got to fill all of these holes. There's a double hole drilled there and all of these. So we're just going to go ahead and plug those. Let's see here. So let's get started on this. Now I'm going to get out my favorite tool here. Use this and this. This is my fret puller, and I don't like necessarily cutting things with these fret pullers, but I can sharpen them, and we're going to see how well these toothpicks fill. The holes are not very deep, so I'm going to remove a little bit of the tip of that one, and we'll see. Yep, they fit nice and tight. They fill that hole completely. So let's get a little bit of CA glue, just a tiny amount. It doesn't take much. Let's see, we're just going to go through and fill all these holes. Ooh, that's way too much. And as Bieri would say, perfect. Perfect. Now, a little bit of the CA glue will definitely squeeze out of here. I gotta get a hammer to drive these in because they fit kind of tight. There we go. Okay. You can see a little bit of CA glue squeezed out of there. I'm just using just enough and I gotta cut the tips of these off. And we'll do that on both ends. How many of these do I got to do? I got a bunch of them. And cut this tip of that one off. So this little hole that I can't fill right there won't be visible, I don't think, because of the thickness of or the size of the new machine head will cover that up way too much, right? Perfect. There we go. And I'm not beating the tar out of this. It might look like I'm hitting it kind of hard, but I'm not. Just hard enough. Did I get something cool? Oh.
No, I borrowed those last night.
Favorite tools.
Your favorite tool there and my favorite tool here.
Your favorite tool. Well, you don't borrow many tools, but when you do, it's that one. Man, look at all these holes I get to plug in this thing, man.
Cool.
Pretty nice. Alright, I'm going to check my check the chat, see what everybody has to say, see if anybody's offered me any great advice. Like, how could you hit that headstock when it's not supported? Watch and learn. Interesting, in doing all this, I've done this many times where we've swapped out machine heads, and I've had a lot of guitar players bring me guitars that they want to swap machine heads out in, and I've done this a lot. Done it a lot. Let's start with the new one. I'll check my chat here in just a moment. I want to finish this up so I can let this glue dry. All right. Oh, broke that one off. That's good. I hit it too hard. Like it. Now with this one, I'm gonna use this to plug the next hole, but I am gonna cut that little extra bit of stuff off of there. I want these holes to be filled really nice and solid. Here we go. So this means that I'm gonna have to re-drill a few of these. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna have to re-drill all of them. So I know that I'll have a really nice, the screws will be biting nicely. And another thing that I'm kind of doing here while I'm in the process of doing this is sometimes some toothpicks are narrower than others when you buy a set of toothpicks at the store. So as I'm grabbing them out of the my toothpick box, I'm feeling for thickness on them. So, doesn't this look neat? We'll just leave it like this, I think. What do you think, Stu?
Yeah, it looks charming.
Leave all the toothpicks poking out of the back of this thing. And also, keeping a paper towel around so you can wipe a little excess glue off of the product is not a bad idea. Yep. And you don't have a big old glob. Now you can see that there's some globs of glue on this, and you'll see them come off of here. This tool right here is really handy for this type of job. So I do highly recommend having a set of picking up a set of fret pullers. If you are working on your own guitars, they are beyond pulling frets. They are a really valuable tool for doing stuff like this. Right, you can see a little bit of CA glue squeezing up out of there. Cut that off. Alright, I'm going to grab one more toothpick. Fill these last two. Yay! I should have done this before I started putting the machine heads in there, but I don't know. I got ahead of myself a little bit. It happens. It's Monday. Whoop, got a little too much Glue on that. And be careful where you set your paper towel down, because you will set it down on the guitar, and you get CA glue on the pick guard, and you'll never get it off. And this one is so close to that edge. It's really a bummer. And that one's going to be a real obvious. It's going to be a real obvious hole. And there's not a lot we can do about these types of when they're like this. It's just very exposed right out there in the wide open. All right. Okay. And this this headstock does have some finish on it, but we will just go around the horn on that one. Let's see. I want to say hello to everybody. Mountain Man, Q Jampro, hello. Zach, hello. How we doing today? May come to the ground. Oh, cool. Gibson, would you like to look at the tailpiece height, bridge and nut? Heck yeah, dude. And I got nut files here that have your name on them. I mean, they have your guitar's name on them. Mike Shanner, hello. Looks like a lefty right now. Yeah. Wood is better than dust and glue. Yeah. As I have my lunch. Zach, wonderful. I'm glad for that. Dude, it's great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see here. I just changed my cannula. Zach, you always remind me that I have this wonderful disease that God blessed me with. My glucose is a little bit high this morning. I'm up around the number 200, and I've given myself some bolus doses. So just so that I'm in all true honesty, that's my glucose right there at 207. And I have 1.96 units of insulin. 1 unit of insulin will drop my glucose 50 points. So I'm going to give myself another bolus amount, current bleed BG, current onboard, and it's going to suggest 0.19, but I'm going to go 0.4, I think, 0.4. There we go. And I can, just like that, I can take an insulin shot, right? So I just gave myself some insulin. So there you go. Another little detail about daily life of a diabetic, right? It's an easy disease to control. As long as you discipline your eating habits. As long as you discipline your eating habits. You cannot overeat. You can't eat sugar. You have to eat low carbs. This is my neck honey that is actually full of, let's get it dry quickly, CA glue stuff. Alright, I'm going to wipe that off. And I'm not going to go over and shoot finish over these hole plugs. That's not something that I believe the owner of this guitar, I've done a lot of work for him, and I don't think it's something that he's terribly concerned about. And also, you know, if he does want to do it, we can pull him off and shoot lacquer on this if we need to. But this is kind of a, not kind of, it's a satin lacquer. The neck feels really nice, believe it or not. There's a couple little rough spots here on the neck that I can feel, so I'll take care of that in the process of doing this. And here's where these come in really handy, because all that extra CA glue gone, right? It's just perfectly flush. So this is why I actually do kind of like having a little bit extra CA glue squeeze out of these when I'm putting them in. All right. And that glue is all nice and hardened now with the hardener that I shoot on there. I use oh, what brand is this stuff? I'll show you. If you find yourself needing to use CA glue, MaxiCure is the stuff that I buy. I buy it at a local shop in our town called Hobby Habit. They've kind of gotten out of, unfortunately, they've gotten out of hobbies. They used to have trains and all kinds of material in there that you could buy to repair models and stuff. But as you know, our new era of hobbyists are basically, they play video games, and that's their hobby. So they sell video games and RC planes and stuff, which are really cool. But this is the Instaset by Bob Smith Industries. So that's my products, and I use the thick, gooey MaxiCure. What is it called? Extra thick. This is the good stuff. You put the runny stuff on something, it will go everywhere but where you want it to go. And it's really a great product. I love this stuff. All right, so this is looking really good so far. Just taking a little extra time here to make sure everything gets nice and flush, and we're not scratching up the headstock by using these tools. These are flush cutters, and they are really good ones. I believe here's the tool. 3 Peaks TC10, made in Japan, which is giving the United States a run for its money in quality tools. Definitely in the price of quality tools. All right, I'm able to push these down onto the bare wood and get a nice clean cut and leave virtually nothing. So that looks a whole lot better, don't it? I think so. And you know, there's not much I can do here to make them look a whole lot better. Although this is under these machine heads, you know, I am going to try something here. Let's see, Zach, swatching is out. Yeah, it's a pretty healthy lunch. This sorted sub from Subway. Oh yeah, dude, Subway sandwiches is one of the best fast food, if you want to call it that, places to eat with regard to the healthiness of the food. The bread has a lot of carb in it, of course, but it is far better than oh, what's that major? I won't even mention the name. We don't need to mention that. Jam Pro, dude, I sure hope you can make it to town. I mean, dude, it's my turn to come your way, but with the feeble amount of money that I get paid to do this kind of work, it's hard for me to budget making a trip over that way. I gotta be honest. I am not paid a lot here, and especially with the cost of living just exorbitantly getting higher and higher and higher. It sucks, but so I'm taking some 400 grit here and just hitting each one of these lightly, doing my best to not go through the finish. And the 400 grit will leave kind of a basically a the same type of texture as what's the finish on this is already like. And I can see that definitely hitting these with a little bit of sandpaper is helping smooth stuff out a little bit. And then I'll wipe it down. Maybe go over the whole thing with some linseed oil on the back of this, just to kind of give it a nice coating. Some of these are going to be invisible. Some of them are going to be totally visible. There's not a whole lot I can do about that because these new machine heads don't fit the holes from the old machine heads. So it would be great, but tiny little bit. Here we go. And I can't really color these with anything to make them vanish. There's a little bit of color difference on that. We'll just call that a day. All right. All right, here we go. Let's put these back on here. We're going to do things twice, right? just because that's how we got to do it sometimes. Again, I'm checking the washers to make sure I got the nice shiny part pointed uphill instead of the dull-ish looking part of them pointed to the sky, so you can see it. So they look nice on here. Isn't this exciting? Pretty cool to be able to do this for somebody on a Monday. I love doing this kind of work. It's really fun. You got to be careful ordering machine heads for a Strat because the machine heads being so close together, if you get ones with bigger buttons on them, you're going to end up having them bump into one another. And before I snug these down, I will align them and drill the holes to the back so we can put screw holes in it, or put screws in them and get them nice and straight. And this is something that I do by eye. I don't really measure this. It's not that necessary to measure it. You can, certainly, but if you got a decent eyeball, you can probably align them yourself without having to measure stuff. You can go through and measure the distance between each button, but then you got to make sure the button's perfectly straight, and you got to make sure that the manufacturer drilled the holes straight, or the CNC machine, whatever they used. I'm sure people didn't probably drill these holes. Right? That's probably the case. Now, I am going to snug these up just a little bit to create some tension here, so that as I move them around, I'm not getting them tight, I'm just snugging them up so that I know when I move them, they'll stay put. And I'm just tightening these down until I see the washer basically lay snug against the wood here. Oh, that one's going a long ways. Is that one stripped? No. Okay. That one just didn't want to go in very far by hand. Yes, I can get a socket to do this, but I like my little crescent wrench because it kind of avoids me over tightening something. Because with these, you want to get them snug, but you know, you don't want them so tight that they're digging down into the wood. Because then if at some point somebody wants to change the machine heads on this again, you've got that circle that would potentially rear its ugly head. Okay, so now from the top down, I'm going to start with this first one. What I'm looking at is the sides of this in relationship to the straight edge. I know you can't see what I'm doing right now. But we'll get these. And I can already see that some of the holes are drilled further in than others. Some of these buttons stick out a little bit further than others. And that could be due to the fact that when I drilled these holes, the hole shifted a few millimeters. But if you're 3 feet away from this guitar, you will never ever see that. What do you think? Are they looking pretty straight? Let me know if you see one that you think I should move. I'll listen. And one other thing I want to add, my channel is, oh snap, reload. Okay. Boy, I hope this is okay. I'm sorry if you guys lost me. I think they may have reset the Wi-Fi router here at our shop. I don't know. But sometimes we lose internet connection. Error, you're not receiving enough video to maintain smooth video. Love the guitar modifications. Sean plays guitar. Hey man, it was great talking with you. Email, that was great to hear from you. Color them holes with sawdust. Yeah, Elder's wood glue. Yeah. We do it nice. There you go. Let me see. I'm gonna refresh my my page here. Let's see. Okay. No glitch. Okay, thank you. Let me, I can't make this, let me check my, drop frames. Okay, I haven't dropped any frames. Alright. Cool. Alright. So, we have, I'm going to give you a shot down on this, from, a sky view. And you can see this one's a little bit shorter than the rest. But I want to, what I'm going to do is put a kickstand on this guitar and see what it looks like as I'm looking at it from the side. Come here. And when I say a kickstand, every guitar repair tech should own bunches of these things, and try to keep the faces of these clean so you're not scratching the guitar up. I know I don't need to say that, but yeah, you want to have a couple of these because they work great for a guitar kickstand, so you can hold the guitar up on its edge like this, right? Now what I'm going to do is walk over to this side and take a look at the guitar from the front. We'll let you kind of see what I'm seeing here. Oh, let me get this. I think. Again, I'm just using my eye here. Oops, I moved that one. There we go. I know that this is not the best way for me to, for you to see exactly what I'm seeing, but just making tiny little moves. This one's still. What do you think?
I can't see any problem from here.
Look pretty good. Looking at the spacing. And these. Now I've tried to align these buttons as well as I can here, but there's like some small discrepancies in it, but I think with everything that I'm seeing here, that's about as close as I can get it. Now, again, the accuracy of the manufacture of these things is not necessarily perfect. Let's see. Right, okay. There we go. No glitch. Yeah. Okay. Good. You guys, you know, sometimes my my computer goes off. I don't know if they had to reset the Wi-Fi router here at the shop or something earlier, but that's just the way it goes. Okay, so we're pretty much dialed in there. And this is, whoops, sorry, let me get you pointed down at the work here. So, and looking at it from the back, got a really nice straight line here, and I'm liking how that's looking. Anybody have any other ideas that you care to share with me on just the D? I love you, Jam Pro. Let's see. Just buy a Fender neck. Yeah. Well, and you know, keep in mind this is the Fender Affinity Squire Strat. So, you know, it is a Fender neck. And in my response to that is, and I brought this up to the owner of the guitar. Recently, I put a Warmoth neck on a Squire Strat body. I think it's a Squire Strat body. I don't know, to be honest, because there's no way for me to tell. I think the guitar was actually painted at some point, so there's no markings on it. But I did recommend to him to buy an Affinity or a Warmoth neck, which would cost him as much as this whole guitar, but they are really killer necks. So they have my endorsement. For sure. I was fortunate enough. Okay, now here we go. I'm going to drill a shallow hole. I can see. Here's the depth of the screws. Now, this is something that I've seen more guys do than I even care to admit. Yeah, and that is drilling all the way through the headstock. Please don't do that. Yeah, you can mark your drill, but I've only done this on about maybe 100 guitars. And I know you're all waiting for me to just go pop right through the other side, right? And I can see how deep I am. And I also have kind of a mark on this that I can kind of tell how far away I start and how close I get when I end up. And I'm being very careful to drill these dead center of the holes. And sometimes there's a slight little variable that happens, and yeah, I could take a marker and mark where the hole is and pull the machine heads off, right? Being very careful to not drill through the headstock. And you know, to be honest, it's perfectly okay to not drill the hole deep enough, because these little screws will cut a little deeper if they need to be. That was a 1/16 inch drill bit that I used to drill these holes. Yeah. And we're just about done. And then we can start on the setup of this thing, which the setup on this was terrible. Oh shit. Whew. Look at that. I found it. I gotta magnetize my screwdriver. Oh, here's another little thing. Here's another little tool that everybody should have. Get one of these. Sometimes it's nice to have your screwdriver magnetic, and sometimes it really sucks. But I can also, with that tool, you can demagnetize something. So if it's causing a problem, like moving a part around that you don't want to move, you can demagnetize your screwdriver. Keep that in mind. And you're probably going, you didn't use wax. You didn't use wax on those screws on fresh drilled holes. No, I didn't. Yeah, these screws are going to just come flying out of there.
Yeah.
And the wood's going to split.
Especially when you use the right size bit, you know.
And that's it. If you use the right size drill bit when you're putting new screws in wood, you will not have to use wax necessarily. There are those special occasions where I might recommend using a little bit of wax. But ask me how much wax I have laying around my bench. Not very much. You didn't wax them. Okay. And that's that. And I'll get you a bird's eye view of how that looks now. Now, there we go. You can see the holes that I filled on the back side. Now, I want to remind you that I filled those holes specifically only to strengthen the guitar, not to necessarily hide something, because let's be honest, it's on the back side of the headstock. And anybody complaining about the back side of the headstock looking bad should probably maybe, I don't know, I mean, I don't know, don't turn your back to the audience. I don't know. But it's really an unnecessary move to need to make that all look perfect. Now, I will take a step back. Yes, I could hide those completely, and the way I could hide those completely would be to paint the back of the headstock and or fill it with wood dust, which still would make it look about like it looks now. It would not clean it up much. If you've done that before, you know what I'm talking about. And I know that there are channels out there that, you know, use wood dust and Elmer's wood glue or Tight Bond or whatever, but not on this guitar. It's a Squire Strat, you guys. Keep that in mind. And I will say also that if this was a, I don't know, an American Strat, and I had discussed with the owner about the appearance of all of it, and he went, yeah, I want it to look perfect, I would go to that length, those lengths. This young man likes to work on his own guitars. He did a lot of work on this thing already, but this part of it he wasn't really prepared to do, and maybe doesn't have the proper tools. But now he can watch this video, and next time he does this to one of his guitars, he won't have to pay me to do it. So kind of cool, helping him out. And he's a really good guy and a great player, by the way. This kid can play some guitar, but you know, there's a lot of in our demographic where I live, there are a magnitude. There's a lot of guys that buy really cheap guitars and play gigs. And now I always encourage people, you know, you want a good guitar, buy a Les Paul, a real one. Buy an American-made Strat. You know, you're going to get a great guitar. If they don't, they don't. And that's the deal. Preston, hello. Rune, hello. String Butler, yeah. Yeah. The toothpick and glue is fine. Yep, you got me. The String Butler. String Butler. No, what is a String Butler? That thing that they put on Les Pauls, all that? My Les Pauls stay in tune. I don't need a String Butler. If you cut a nut right on a guitar, it will stay in tune. That's the truth, and there's no need for that. That's another thing. I think that's what the String Butler is. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. I think they work, but I wouldn't put one on my guitar. My Les Pauls stay in tune just fine. Let's see. Okay, now we're going to start the setup on this thing real quick. So we've got the machine heads on there. We know that they'll work. I'm going to loosen them up so I can feed the strings through there. Now on locking machine heads, I usually do give them about a half turn around and then poke the string through because I don't read the directions, I think. I have locking machine heads. I've put them on. We're just poking them straight through the hole and wrapping them halfway around, and I don't know. What do you think, Stu?
I think it's up to the personal preference of
the person put them on. I'm not a big fan of locking machine heads because of the fact that that is pressing the string, squeezing the string, and I can't say that I've had a lot of them break strings right there at the clamping point, but I'm not a big fan. It does make changing strings really fast, and that's great. But you know my take on changing strings, where it's pretty easy. It can be done very quickly. If you play a lot, you're probably putting strings on your guitars quite often, and now, here's the part that I don't like about using old strings is the tangled mess that it makes trying to deal with them. It's almost better to just take the damn strings, because I'm going to sit here and mess with this for probably 5 minutes trying to get these things all detangled. But before I do that, I'm going to level the neck. So let's do that. I love, don't get me wrong, I love, let's see, 24, that's 25 and a half. All right, so I want to show you this. You got to see it. Okay, hopefully this camera is going to give you a good view of what I'm seeing, but look at how much underbow this neck has. It's about maybe 30 thousandths, maybe 40 thousandths of neck relief, which the string action on this guitar was really high, and that was a concern. So we're going to turn the truss rod and get that all leveled out. So in order to remove the underbow in this guitar, we need to tighten the truss rod. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. I think it has a 4 mil. It does, and we're going to tighten this, and it's totally loose. Now another thing, let me make sure, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I'm tightening this, thinking I'm loosening it, but I am righty tighty, lefty loosey. Come on, let's see if that little movement did anything, because the truss rod feels really loose. That went the opposite direction. That's interesting. How am I turning this the wrong way? This is...
Pull it towards you, you're tightening.
Yeah. I just did, and it moved, it almost turned the neck the opposite direction. And there's just no tension on it.
I hate that.
Ooh, I hope he didn't break this truss rod if he was messing with it. There we go. Now it's starting to snug up. I had to turn that thing a long ways, so we still have 30, maybe 40 thousandths of an inch of neck relief on this thing. So this truss rod was not tight at all. And finally, I just turned it maybe 4 full turns, which is rare that I have to turn a truss. I never have to turn it. You usually can't turn a truss rod that far because it'll snap. But now we're talking. So just the truss rod was totally loose on this thing, and give me a second. I've got to make dang certain. Okay, so we still have a little bit of relief. Now, you might be wondering, why would you level the fingerboard? You might be asking that question. I don't know. I would probably, and I did. First time I saw a guy do that. Why would you level it? Just set it. No. The strings actually create a lot of the neck relief, and it's astonishing how especially on Stratocasters. Okay, so now I've gone too far because I've got some back bow in it, so we're gonna go in just that little bit of a turn right there. I'm trying not to talk too much because this is a really important part of this process for having a perfect setup on a guitar. Now, I also may have to put a shim in the neck, and this is about as close as I can get. I still have some underbow. Now I'm checking both sides of this neck also. Make sure it's not like twisted. Alright, that's about as good as I can get. So now the neck is about as perfectly level, and I say the neck, the fingerboard. I don't know how level the frets are. We'll check that here in a bit. I'm not going to mess with that too much right now. Now, these strings were already put on regular machine heads. But what I can see right now is that putting them on, I can cut this. Well, I don't even have to cut it. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me grab my string winder. Just to make this a little bit, I'm going to set all of these machine heads so they're perfectly, they're pointed straight up the neck. Or straight up the fingerboard. I should say neck, fingerboard, headstock. There we go. This is going to turn out nice.
Found this on the floor.
Oh, look at that. Ooh, we just found a piece of gold. You know what this is? It goes right there. But it didn't come off of this guitar. So we will put this in my little spare parts box here, because this will save the day one of these days, I promise. Where are my string trees? I need to order some string trees. Oh, here we go. So I have this little box right here with some string trees. Boom, that goes in there. Now I've got that. That will save a guitar one of these days. Pretty cool to have spare parts laying around. Sometimes stuff falls on the floor and I can't find a new one, so I have extra ones. Because I don't throw anything away. Okay. So, oh, here's what I'm going to do with this. What I'm going to do is go backwards through here. Right? And I do this on a lot of guitars that have locking machine heads on them. And I pull it taut. I don't. Now this is the part that people, Arnold Schwarzenegger this shit. Do not clamp this stuff down real tight. Just get it snug. And string tension will help do the rest. That should be pretty close to an E. Now I got to untangle the rest of these strings. And we'll do that. This is the real boring part of this job, because you've all seen thousands of people do these on YouTube. But I might do it slightly different than other guys, so maybe, here we go. Maybe, just maybe you want to try doing it like this. I don't know. So I'm cinching these up, not very tight, just snug. Alright. I'll grab my string winder. And you also want to be sure that you get the wind under you want it to overlap. That should be pretty close to an A. What do you think, Stu? Am I close? I'm going to let Stu tune this guitar when I'm done, so...
Oh, you don't want me touching it.
You can all hear how... why we call it Stu tuning.
Yeah. You don't want to do that.
Now, when I do have string trees, I do like to run the strings under the trees. And Rune, I'm curious on your question about what did you call that? Butler, string butler. I think it's the thing that guys use on their Gibsons that don't have properly cut nuts. And I just say that because if you have a nut that's cut properly, yeah. Let's see, string butler. Let's see. And forgive me, hey, pole vault, dude, what's up? Where is Rune? Okay, just wonder. Oh, okay. Pole vault, just put a Mexican neck upgrade, pick guard, and pots on an Indonesian. So there you go, man. Hi, Charlie. I'm going back. Sparky, hey, what's up? I hope you got, Sparky was asking some great questions about an old Gibson. And that is a truly vintage guitar, definitely, 100%. I hope that my thoughts on that might have made some sense to you. And I hope my answer may have helped. I know it was nothing like monumental, because anybody has Google can find all that stuff out. Now, I'm also looking at these nut slots and making sure that these are cut properly. And forgive me for not following up. I'm working here, so I can't really pay a lot of attention to the chat, but my ear still works pretty good, I think. And hey, we're talking about doing Jamland again, just because we know it can be done. And but I got to find some guys with some balls to come and play, and who will be willing to do it, because it's something that anybody can do. If you've got decent internet connection and you can get your guitar audio into the web pretty easily. Pretty close. Pretty close. And but finding guys willing to get on the internet and play actual improvise, that's tough. It's a tough rope to tow. We've got a lot of guys playing live guitar with backing tracks and such, but not doing like guitar solos, and that's what we're focused on the Jamland, which was really a fun all right, now my ear's done. All right, yeah, how all driving home? Oh, good. Okay, just wonder. Yeah, Rune, if you got any info on that string butler, do a proper wrap on the string post, even when he's locked. Yeah, I got you. Independent, hello. Thank you for being a mod on my channel. I sure do appreciate it. Although we don't have many. We had one rude jerk on here the other day. I don't know. I don't want to call him a jerk, but that was kind of mean what they said. Yep, string, LAB, yeah. Preston, you got a lot of great info here. Oh, let's see. Oh, I gotta fly. Preston, have a good day. Okay, thanks, Sparky. No problem, man. That was as best as I could do. Robbie, what's happening? Robbie, you're loving this one. I know you're a. Yeah, Robbie has some really nice guitars and some really classic guitars. It's really great to see him get to play those things. So again, that says it all right there, man. But you know, I don't care that it says that on the headstock. What I care about is that this guitar plays as good as one that doesn't say that on the headstock. Okay, let's stretch these strings. Now, one other thing that is kind of an important fact to mention about this guitar. I was pretty close. You can see how close I was. So we're going to stretch these babies. I'm going to move my camera. Let me clean up. see, here's my bench. Just Monday morning, I had nothing on it today except for this guitar, and here's what we have out now, working on this thing, right? And there you are. All right. Hope everybody's doing good. We like to have a little fun. Okay, I'm gonna put some stuff away. Clean up a little bit. This wonderful bit case that I have here, it's all metal, and my journeyman gave this to me quite some time back, and I'm really, really grateful for it. This thing is absolutely gold. It's all standard size bits, so no metric stuff in here, but with this many different bits, if you can't get close enough, boy, you have a very Martian-made instrument, is what I would say. Where it's got holes in it this big. You're trying to drill a sound hole in your guitar or something like that. Okay, I'm gonna get this all the stuff off of my bench, get my screwdriver put back together, and we will start setting this thing up, checking a few other things. Now here's something else you might notice about this Strat. Very kind of unusual. You don't see this a lot, and that is it's a hardtail, which pretty darn cool. So I know he can do drop D tuning, and I think he plays a lot of metal style music, so he can get away with that. He is playing Ernie Ball's Slinky Cobalt 9-46, so a little bit heavier low end strings on this one. I think a normal is 9, 11, 16, 24, 34, or 22, 30, something like that. We can compare. We'll see. Let's see. Actually doing custom art on Strat pickguard. Oh, cool. Mike, dude. I absolutely love your music. You, I think, are one of the better independent writing artists on YouTube, bar none. I love your songs. Enough said. My compliments, brother. Yeah. Dude, I would love to see that. I hope that we might be able to see that. Let's see, Jam. Bleach white pickguard should be banned. There you go, Jam Bro. That's in your honor, and I know how much you despise those things. And you know what? I am not a fan either. If you're gonna put a white pickguard on a guitar, just stop. Buy a mint one. Just do yourself a favor. Just buy a mint one. They always look better. The white ones just, they are pretty hard to look at. They don't look good under lights, is my big complaint about them. What do I have here? Oh, that's a piece of wire. Okay, I think I've gotten cleaned up enough here that I can start setting this thing up. Now, one other thing I want to add. All of his old machine heads went in the box, and they will go home with the guitar, the owner of the guitar. Anything I take off of old guitars, unless the owner says I can keep them, which I will ask this young man, because he may want me to keep these because he knows how much repair work I do. He lives here in the town, and we see him quite often. He may want me to keep those to save somebody else's guitar, right? A lot of my guys that I work for are like that. They know how I roll and how hard it is to find parts for guitars in some cases, especially guitars like this that have really affordable hardware on them. You know, most of the hardware that you can buy is pretty. Sometimes it's hard to match them up. I always like to, if I have to fix a machine head, because on guitars, probably one of the #1 injuries on guitars, especially acoustic guitars, are the top D and G machine heads, right? They're the first thing that hits something when the guitar gets knocked over by a 2-year-old or by some drunk guitar player. And so it's nice to have extra ones of these and kind of random ones. Because I have fixed a lot of guitars that would have required, you know, buying a full set of machine heads, and I've got extra ones around. And as you can see, I'm stretching these, and you can look at my stretch technique here. I do it, I give it the whole squeeze, and I'm not being nice. I'm really not afraid to break a string while I'm changing strings on a guitar, because I work at a guitar shop, right? And I got lots of extra strings laying around. So, but again, I also don't want to hand a guitar back to somebody that they have to spend hours stretching the strings. And these cobalts are the same strings that that my vocalist and lead vocalist in my band uses. He just loves them. I've tried them before, and I don't know, I just like regular slinkies. So now we're gonna go through the Dave's World of Fun stuff, setting this thing up. And his process is, in my humble opinion, correct. Set the neck relief, set the string action, then set the first fret action, then set the pickup height. That's how I like to do it. That's how I've done it for 40 plus years now, way over 40 years. So I think I set my own guitar up probably, I think I was 12. Oh, and that's something else I wanted to say. Somebody yesterday made a comment about the age of someone on my YouTube channel, and that's unnecessary. And if you're present today or you're watching and you made that comment, please don't do that again. If I see anything like that from anybody, I try to give you one chance, but do not be rude on my channel. I don't care if you're talking about me, and if you are joking, be sure to let people know that you're joking, because I just don't want any rude stuff on my channel. And yesterday it was a comment pointed at me and my age, and I want you to know, yes, I'm 54 years old. I've been a type 1 diabetic since I was 11 years old. I will outrun most any police officer in the entire country. They will never catch me, most of them. Maybe 20% of them could keep up with me. Most high school students couldn't keep up with me in a foot race or a weightlifting contest or doing pull-ups or sit-ups. So if I look a little older than I am, you might consider that I also am a type 1 diabetic, and my life was already cut short at 11, so I don't care. Also, I play in a live band and I still have my hair, right? So just so you know, if you want to be rude on my channel or make comments about people's age or anything, just don't say anything. That's the best policy, right? Sean, what's up? Yep, 54 years young. Exactly. So just be kind on here. Yeah, we always want to be nice and encouraging to people. All right, so that was something that I had to say that. I didn't say anything at the time just because I was working on stuff, and it wasn't that important, but today I got the point out. There we go. Okay, so let's check our neck relief. I need a capo, and I need a 12 thousandths. We're probably going to set this one up for around 10 thousandths. This is a 12 thousandths. Actually, this is an 11 thousandths, so we'll get it as close as we can get it. There we go. And we'll start checking the setup on this guitar. Here we are. And let me get this camera over here so you can see how I do this. I use a feeler gauge, and I fret the guitar at the last place it can bend, which is right where the neck meets the body. And even, okay, so I remember that I flattened the neck out, right? You saw me do that. And the neck relief is at this point still a little bit more than I want. So we're going to go ahead and give it one little one little turn here. That's it, okay? And probably don't need to measure it again, but we will. And I know I left the capo on there. I'm breaking all the rules, right? I'm gonna go a little bit further than that. I can get this down a little bit closer. And this is where you want to make really small moves with your 4mm hex key. It's not an Allen key, it's a hex key. This is not made by Allen, right? Allen is a brand. I know we call them Allen keys, but that's like calling every car a Ford. Okay, now also I want you to notice something I've done here on this. So if you're working on your own guitars, you should have a 4mm hex key, something like this. And these two bends, this wrench came like this, so it allows me to get inside an acoustic guitar and get way back in there and get at that hex key. But this shrink tubing around this for like electrical, this is really helpful to keep the strings from being messed up. So do this to your hex keys, and you won't ding up your strings when you're turning your truss rod. Now we're talking. All right, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna call that the I'm gonna say that the neck relief is just great. Now we're gonna check our string action here, and I need my string action measuring device. I never use my eyes for this, and in fact, when you're setting up a guitar, you should not be using your eyeballs. That is not a good policy. Now, on a Strat, you want to set it up at the 17th fret, like Leo Fender tells us to do. Arguably, well, is it even arguable to say that he is the best genius guitarist ever? Maybe? Arguable? Okay, so I'm noticing right now, we're going to see where we end up here, but these pins, I'm sorry, you probably can't see, these are sticking up a little bit. I'm thinking about chugging on this guitar. They're not really too bad. I'm gonna leave that right now. We could shim the neck and then get these down a little bit lower to get these sharp edges off of them, but I'm gonna let the guitarist, the owner of that on this guitar, this is 4.5 thousandths. I'm going for low string action for this young man because I know he likes it low. Alright, so that one's way too high. And we're going to drop this one down a little bit. 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, also, while I'm doing these saddles, I'm making damn certain that these saddles are sitting level with the top of the guitar. You want them to sit level. You don't want them tilted. Like on a Telly, you have to tilt them because of the way they're set up. But keeping them level will keep the string in better tune. Won't let it roll off the side of the saddle. There's so many advantages to it. 4 thousandths. All right, so we're going to be dropping all of these a little bit. The string action is just slightly too high. There we go. We'll give it a little tickle here when I'm done doing this. That's too much. Once I get them level, my policy is to, if I turn one screw, I turn the other one the exact same distance, and then they move the same, right? 564, so this is way too high. And I'll check the chat here in a moment. I want to get through this section real quick before I comment on anything. I hope everybody's having a really great Monday. Mine's been good so far. Had a really fun weekend. Played some guitar online. I went out and visited an old friend of mine. Lives in a little town called Alicelle. And most of the grass seed that you buy anywhere in the world is grown there, right here in little old Northeast Oregon. And most of the mint in all of your chewing gum was grown right here in our backyard. And literally, I ain't kidding. That is, all of the spearmint gum that Wrigley's makes, it comes from right here in our beautiful little community here. Now, don't come here. It's terrible. The weather sucks. And that's the big part. The weather just sucks year round. It's terrible. I got a little bit aggressive there. With that one. Let's see. And I'm going to check the chat here in a moment. Interesting how I moved that one that much and now I have to move it back. It's kind of strange. There we go. There we go. We're getting close. We're almost there. Almost there. .3/64, I like it. I like to get the E and the B string down to 3/64, especially on Squire Strats, because the neck, the radius is usually wide enough, like a 9.5 inch radius, that you can get away with 3 fret bends, having your string action down at 3/64 at the 17th fret, not the 15th or not the 12th. Right, so let's tune this thing back up. Now, you can call our shop also. The phone number here at our shop, if you want to talk to me on the phone, 541-963-5933. You can call any time of day. We're open 7 days a week. So we have some techs here. We won't answer every question that you have because we make a living doing this stuff, but questions about car audio, television sets, home audio systems, guitar repair and setup, guitar brands. We have some of the most knowledgeable people. And yes, we live in little old LeGrand. You would be shocked at how many 59 Les Pauls there are in our community. I'm just saying. We have a lot of very affluent guitar players that were born and raised here. And there are some very notable Gibson dealerships that aren't far from here. But back when small mom and pop businesses ruled the world, they were the best service, the best products, the best things you could buy. And now we're reduced to having to go to Walmart and go ask them a question about your guitar, or any of the home building places. You can call us anytime and we're here. So if you want to call and talk to somebody here, you can. Let's see. Fender's fattest radius was 9.5 till 2002. Yep. Bot Jackson. Yep. You're right. Flattest. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Let's see. A great show. Yep. A lot of great information going back and forth on folks' YouTube channels, and I hope that you guys. Indy does a great job, and thank you so much for your help. On sharing people's channels. You can always right click on it and open it in a new tab and subscribe to somebody's channel. If you're not aware, you could do that. Okay, so I've got this thing tuned up. Let's plug it in and see what it sounds like. Here we go. I'm not going to spend a lot of time playing this thing today because I have another guitar that I will be working on here shortly that I'm going to be putting some color on today. All right, so I did ask the owner of this guitar if he knew of any problems with the electronics or anything like that, and he said nope, they work just fine. So we'll hope he's correct. Now, I can hear that it's on. right? Let's see what this feels like. I'm gonna get my, oh, I gotta have my camera guy. My camera guy, jeez. He's a little bit of a, he's kind of a drunk. We don't mind drunks here at work. Oh, listen to that. Stu, you tuned this, didn't you?
Yeah, unfortunately,
this is
psychically tuned it.
He's taught me how to tune guitars properly. Let me get my camera guy pointed the camera in the right direction. I think that should do it. You probably can see. Here we go. Oh. Okay.
That's
Is
correct.
that accurate?
That's featured right
That sounds awesome. Here we go. Well, we have fun. You know, it's interesting how it goes. I do a video about it. Yeah, Sean, your channel's going to grow very quickly. You have the right personality for it, man. I have a terrible personality for hosting a YouTube channel. Terrible. But let's oh, I gotta get my glasses up here. I don't want them banging on this fine finish. Now I'm using my snark right now, and I can already tell that I've gotten the string action too low because I tried to bend a note and it fretted out. It killed the note. Can you hear that note's not Now, what I always shoot for, because I feel like I have to say this, is that I also play guitar. I don't just work on them. A lot of guys, you know, like Leo Fender, he could set a guitar up, and I would love to have let that guy work on one of my guitars. But he wasn't the world's greatest guitar player. And so I always make sure when I'm doing a setup on a guitar that I can get a 3-fret bend. So bending from up at the 12th fret, in particular from the B to the D note. Let me turn the overdrive off. I had some overdrive on it. That's pretty close.
Yeah.
And then from the E to the G. And that one's getting nipped off, right? So this is where I call the mojo, and I'll check the bending from B to D. Very nice and clean. And up in here it's clean, but back here, which is one of the most common bends done in guitar playing. So here's what I do at this point. I take each of these set screws and I move it less than a quarter turn to raise the string action that little amount. If I turn them equally, the saddle will stay flat. It will stay, let's call it level. And I'm just moving it a tiny little bit, not even a quarter turn, and we'll sneak up on it. I don't want to go too far, and then now I'm too high, right? Not a big fan of these rechargeable snarks, by the way. And we'll get the we'll intonate it soon enough. And I just tune it up with the snark, and it's not, they're not accurate anymore. They're convenient, but they're not accurate anymore. I mean, this G string is all over the place, and okay. So we're still pinching those notes off a little bit. So on this one, probably going to end up in around 4/64 at the 17th fret. I'm just going to move them until I get no choking notes, and then we'll measure and retune. And please, when you're playing live, don't leave a snark on your headstock. Okay, I know everybody says that, but that looks dumb. Okay, so now I'm going to measure this. Let's see, where are we at? 3.5 and just a little over 3. So I'm going to continue to roll. If I'm higher, if I have to be higher than 4/64 at the 17th fret on one of these, I'm at that point stuck looking for a popped fret, or maybe there's a problem with the neck. So I'm comfortable raising this. And it doesn't feel, the action at this point does not feel bad, is what I'm saying, or uncomfortably high. And again, when I started this, I went for pretty low string action, because I know how this owner of this guitar likes his guitar setup, because I've worked for him many times. And I'm gonna do my best to check up on the chat again. So the treble E is feeling pretty good about that. It sounds nice and clean, and the string action's nice. Let me check the chat here real quick. I've got kind of a Mondays haven't been real super busy here at the shop, but it will get busy. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one. We got people coming in today, but so I have a little bit of time here. So thank you, Robbie. I appreciate that. You know, back bow of the neck before leveling, so the relief is sanded in the frets and the neck stays straight. Been doing that way ever since. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Mountain Man, joints are reinforced. Stocks are pretty rad, yeah. That stock tuner around here somewhere, but I just think they look dumb. I play live in a band, and this is not from Rick Beato. I've been saying it long before he ever said anything about this, or most anybody else. But man, those things came out in like what, 2008, maybe 2006 even. They were around. No, it was 2008 or 2009, and I went out to watch a band play, and a guy was playing a beautiful Les Paul Custom with the snark on the headstock, and it completely blocked the brand of the guitar. I didn't know if it was an Epiphone or a Les Paul, because just don't do it. You put a foot tuner down there. They're cheap. You can buy one for like 40 bucks off of Amazon, and it'll be on the floor, and you got a tuner and a mute. All right, said nonetheless. Nobody wants to listen to you tune your guitar at a live show. Okay, so let's see. Let's get I do totally understand the idea of hearing your guitar while you're tuning it. That's good for you. I get it. Oh boy. Let's see. Well, this is an interesting conundrum to be in right now. Where did you go? Okay. All right. I'm missing something else. Let me see what I did with my. And forgive me for not being in the picture the whole time. I know I have this big, beautiful, beautiful face, but let's see. Where? Let's see. Okay, so, oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. There it is. I found it. There we go. So now I'm not pointed at the wall anymore. Okay. Let's check the intonation. Can you think of anything else I should do before I intonate this? Anything? Any advice? I'm using a Peterson strobe tuner. I don't have one of the old rack-mounted ones. I don't have $5 to buy one. I would love to have one of those. We used one of those in my jazz band in high school, and I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, what the heck am I supposed to do with that? Because the light spinning around is a big old analog screen. You guys have probably seen them. Holy smokes. But boy, you tuned one of those and it was done. Our band always sounded in tune. It was great. Anything? There's Jorman and Floyd's in 82. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's check our intonation, see how the intonation is. I haven't heard anybody say, well, you forgot to do this. Okay. I just wonder. I'm not beyond learning something. And also, I'm going to cut the strings off the machine heads, because I usually do this last, but on guitars with locking machine heads, oop, butterfingers. Guitars with locking machine heads, you don't really have to do that. I like to do it last. This is kind of like the end of the job move. Let's see, Sparky. Yeah, they call that a vibrola. Is that not a vibrola? The old '65 Gibson whammy bar.
Oh,
What is that called?
Wonder bar?
What's that?
Which Gibson? A Wonder bar terminal?
It might be the Wonder Bar. It's got the
It's kind of a bent piece of metal. It's like one of the SPs had them.
No, I'll show you. Sparky, I'm gonna show you this. Stu, I want you to look at this real quick. Give me a second. We're gonna talk to one of the most educated guitar repair techs in the world. I'm not kidding. Let me look at this real quick. Where are you? This. I'm hoping that this shows up. There it is. I can't make it bigger.
I think it's just a bent piece of metal that wraps around. It's a Wonder bar.
The Wonder Bar. Wraparound bridge, and they call it vibrola tailpiece.
Right, but we always called them a Wonder bar.
Wonder Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a gentleman that's working on a guitar. He's in my chat right now. We call him Sparky. That's his YouTube channel name. Let me see. I want to pull this up. I want you to look at this real quick. Sparky, I'm going to let my journeyman look at this. He's worked on more guitars than probably any human in the history of guitar repair, and I'm not kidding. How long have you worked here, Stu? 45?
Yesterday was 45 years.
45 years. Okay. He's just been at our shop for 45 years, and you started working on guitars at what?
Probably 11 years old.
Right. Let's see. Sparky 971. There you are. I'm going to find your video. Here it is. Here it is. So, only got 12 views. What the hell? You guys need to watch
Would have
this.
been a young teenager then. He told me I was with him when he got it, but I do not remember it.
So it's got that.
Oh, I see. So
Right.
they took it off and they put that Schaller style.
He's calling that a Schaller style tailpiece or bridge.
Yeah, that's what we used to buy, those Schallers back in the day. Other companies make Gatto, and a bunch of other companies make them, but we always called it. We always bought the Schaller because it was better metal.
Well, those 3 holes, though. What's interesting.
Well, that's where that spring piece screwed down to the top of the instrument.
Right. It doesn't. And we'll get back. I think he'll show this. Okay, there's a crack in the headstock. Where is it? Come here. He held up the. You can see that.
Young teenager
Let
then.
me pause this. I'll make this full size. Look at those. That's like original paint. That's
Right.
like balled up around those mounts.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that's got me, Sparky, on your guitar or your brother's guitar. This looks.
It looks factory.
It does, and you can see that the discoloration, the blue, because this was Pelham blue.
Uh-huh.
It's Pelham blue by the Pelham. Pelham blue is what they pronounce it. But I'm guessing also if you pull the pickguard on that guitar, you would definitely see the Pelham blue a little more pronounced than what you can on the rest of it that's faded. But yeah, I mean that looks
That looks like the mount for the old school Wonder Bar tremolo.
Wonder Bar is what's they call them. And, you know, there's a lot of slang
Yep.
terminology for stuff. Some people call it a vibrola.
Yeah, I've heard them called that too.
So let's get back.
You could find one that was intact. That was a good picture. With the,
Yeah. There are some photographs of that bridge, by the way.
And they do have kind of a weird handle. It's kind of a
Here we go.
square looking, kind of a pearl.
But this thing,
or
it's interesting.
ivory.
Okay, we're looking at your video, Sparky. Okay. Okay, so that I wish that you had done a little better job.
Piece of metal.
Yeah. Now is that?
There's another piece that goes on top
Yeah.
of it that the handle goes on.
Yeah. So you're totally missing the top piece of that. But have you worked on one of these before?
I've had probably 15 of them over the years.
Yeah, but I mean, over that much time, they're not very popular.
And there's not a regular spring. It's actually kind of a bent piece of flat metal, and it actually bends the whole piece of metal. It's like the whole width of the tail piece is the spring.
Right, this like this.
Mm-hmm. And there's a piece that goes on the top, and it bends with the.
How does it fasten to the? How would that thing fasten? Because I'm looking at the photographs, and
that's part of it.
does it just squeeze into this groove right here? Like, is it a piece of?
Let's see here. I'm going to look here.
And you guys forgive me. I don't like Stu doesn't like to be on the video, so.
Actually, I think this is folded right there, and I think that piece hooks into that.
Right.
If I remember rightly.
It's folded over this direction, right?
Yeah.
And then is the back side of that have a little hook on it or something? Because I can't.
Almost identical, kind of a bend, and another piece that slides. It slides into that hook.
So it's all held in with ultimately friction.
Yeah. Good luck and keep your fingers crossed.
That's probably why they're all missing. They just fall out. Yeah. So what do you call it again?
A Wonder Bar?
Wonder Bar.
That's what we always call them.
So you might do a search for a Wonder Bar with respect to your 65 SG on that. You guys, I would love to have Stu on here, but he doesn't like to be on the video part of YouTube. So there you go. All the pictures I could find had slots in it for the string. Well, it looks like it, but...
Well, there's a piece that goes on top and it has the slots in it.
Yeah, let's, I'm going to show you, let me see. I think I can do this with, and I may have done this the other night. Let me add, let's see, what do I do? Well, not window capture, browser. Let's do that. Okay, we'll call it a browser. I'm going to add a browser. URL. Let's oh, I don't like this. Cancel that. Let's get rid of that. No. To add a page in OBS is like they didn't let's see, we'll do a window capture, properties, Chrome, Les Paul standard. Let me hit OK. This should show up. Oh, because I don't have it. Come on. Where are you? Huh. You guys hang on just a moment. I know, you're looking right in my face. Window capture. What do I have to... order. Move to top. Where's my window capture? So let's just delete that one. Apparently I can't share just a window, right? I've got a window open here that you've looked at the same searches. Oh, here's a good photo.
Yeah, this is that. Yeah, it's called a vibrola. That's the technical name for it.
Okay.
We always call them a Wonder Bar.
Vibrola.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This photo right here is out. Man, I wish you could see this. But there's a different. Hang on. Here we go. This is one of the better photos I've seen. If I can make this show up here. God, is that? That's it. There it is.
That's it right there.
Okay, give me just a second. You'll see. I found a really nice photograph here. You seen it?
Yeah, the 3 screws hold on the back, and then this piece hooks into that spring, and that's what has the handle
That's
on
the
it.
bar.
And that's what has the slots for the
And that just hooks on there, so the string tension holds it on there. The moment you pull the springs off, or the strings off, that thing will fall right off of there.
And they're pretty tight fit, but you know, they get wore out and they do fall off.
Okay, let me copy this. I'm going to copy this link. Here's a great photo for you to look at, Sparky. It kind of shows it from the side, so you can see how that folded over edge on the front edge of that thing, the actual bar slides onto that ultimately, and it kind of pivots on there. And he's calling it a Wonder Bar.
That's what I call. That's what we used to call them. It was just a nickname, but it's a vibrola. It is technically called a vibrola.
Yeah.
Maestro made them. Had them on the guitars, Epiphone and Gibson.
Yeah, and they had the compensated saddles that would have been period correct, and you've looked at those things, and I know they ain't cheap, but
and there's 2 different styles of the vibrola.
Please.
One is mounted with the 3 screws. The other one has the tailpiece that goes back to the end.
right, that would be like a trapeze or something.
The top is just identical. The top section.
Hinge bridge. Mountain Man, thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, Sparky's been really interested in that SG, and man, I can't wait to see that thing with strings on it and such. And whatever cleanup you do on it, man, God bless you for doing that. The razor blade scraping the DNA off the fingerboard, you know, that's definitely one way to do it, but you can mark up a fingerboard in not a great way.
Mac has one available.
Do they?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna get you a link to Stu Mac. Oh yeah, that's definitely slightly different than the original piece that he has, I think.
Yeah, it's a replacement. It's a kind of a.
So, Sparky, just if you're at your computer, do a search. You'll get a result from Stu Mac. That's Guitar Slinger Cryocated Short Vibrola. It has 0 ratings on it because it's probably never been purchased before. So I'll give you the. Let's see. So this is all in lowercase letters that I'm typing, but this is what it's called. Cryolated.
I think they're about $200 or so.
Yeah, it's gonna run you in the $200 short vibrola. I don't know if you found any of those yet, but thank you.
No problem.
I hope that helps. That's as close as you're gonna get, I think, to what the original thing was. Does that come with the bridge?
No, it's just the tailpiece.
Or the saddle, I should say.
There's no bridge.
No saddle. Yeah, I would also, man, those hideous screws sticking out of that thing, get rid of those things and put some hex keys in those so that they don't stick out that far. That definitely was
the biggest mod I did on the ones like this that had that very similar style was I'd put a roller, because it's like a tuner-matic.
Right.
And I'd just get the roller version.
Yeah.
And then it was a battery. But without it, it's just, dragging it across bare saddles.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, Snooks, what's happening? Hello. Yeah, and that what I just posted is something that Stu found on Stu Mac. Isn't that funny? Stu Mac and Stu. He is Stu Mac. Saddles are for horses. Yeah, okay, so let me get back to intonation for the nation. I just copied Dave's World of Fun stuff, right? Okay, here we go. And again, I hope everybody's having a great Monday. My Monday has started out really wonderfully. Got plenty of rest over the weekend. Got to play a lot. Did a little bit of live streaming. It was pretty fun. Okay, now, when I do intonation on a Strat, I typically will use the second position. I call this the second position, that the fifth. First, second, right? And let's check. So we're definitely flat. All right, so we got to sharpen this baby up. Okay, so we need to make it a little bit closer to the nut. Now, here's something that you want to be careful of when you're making strings sharp. If you turn this thing, it's not necessarily moving the saddle. And I know, loosen the string tension. Whatever. Sometimes you got to tap that screw to get it to sit properly. Hopefully you can see my oh, let me get rid of that extra screen on there. I didn't let me see, webcam. Oh, okay, no, we're all right, I think. Yeah, here we go. Right. So that definitely is something, and that was probably stock on that guitar. Just given the way the paint looks, it's kind of a big clue for me. Yeah. Look at that, nailed it. Now also, I noticed that when I tapped this, it almost seemed like the whole bridge moved a little bit. So I'm gonna take a screwdriver and check the tension. Yeah, these screws are not very tight, and I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but when I tap that one saddle to get it to push forward, it almost seemed like the whole bridge moved forward, and I'm guessing it did. The whole thing moved because these screws are not tight here. So I'm cinching them up. Yeah, definitely. These are not tight at all. I don't know. Yeah, I think this was purchased. I'm being careful not to strip them, but I want to get them snug. See if my screwdriver will get down in there. I can't reach that one, but I can't get a smaller screwdriver in it. Oh yeah. Boy, those screws are really loose. So there again is the whole Squire Strat. If you bought an American Strat that was the same thing, you probably wouldn't have loose screws right there. You found one on eBay, yeah. Going for like $8 grand. We're still a little bit flat on the A string, so another thing you can do rather than tapping it with a hammer is just push real hard on the screw as you turn it. Still a little flat. There we go. You can see all the strings on this guitar went flat when I tapped on. The whole bridge moved. So I'm probably going to have to adjust the intonation on this quite a bit. And again, you know, just if you're watching my channel and you're digging what I'm doing and such, please hit the thumbs up. And also, nothing I'm doing is telling you how to do stuff. Absolutely not. My advice is based on experience and having worked on guitars for most of my life, longer than most guys who say they've worked on guitars at 54. What do you got?
I just wanted to show you this picture because I forgot about this. That's a lot of times it has just the tailpiece style compensated, you know, like sometimes it wouldn't have the one bar, but it have just that piece. Well, they came from the factory, a lot of them that had that piece instead of the Tune-o-matic, and so you have to pull these out and put the Tune-o-matic style studs, you know, for like a Nashville style in there, and then you can put the roller bridge on, but otherwise you're stuck with that.
Yeah. And all of the photographs I've seen of those are that.
And that's what I remember having to do is pull these out and replace the threaded part into the ferrule that's in the body, or replace the whole ferrule, and then you could get the Nashville style studs sticking up, and then you can put a Nashville style roller bridge.
Oh yeah, because Nashville won't use those big. It won't go on there. Not.
But you can. Luckily there's ferrules into the body, and they make the ferrules that have the Nashville studs that will pop right into the body of the guitar.
Right.
But if you want to go vintage, just leave that. But they like to slide around and get stuck.
Yeah, and I'm not sure with what he's doing with that thing. I think it's his brother's guitar, and I don't know how crazy they're gonna go with it.
A bunch of work.
Yeah, because you know those parts they start adding up for sure.
You're gonna be $300 or $400 in, but
yeah. Which on an instrument like that, and they're selling on eBay and Reverb, I've seen them up at $8,000.
Yeah, and the thing you want to avoid is the destructive work. Anything you can do, you can undo, then it's all good.
Yeah.
You start wallering holes out, though, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And Stu just shared what he shared with me from the time I started working on guitars here. And of course I was practicing this beforehand, but once you remove material, you can't put it back within reason. So if you're starting hogging out holes and things like that on an old guitar like that, you're potentially ruining the value of it, possibly. But as Joe Bonamassa would say, like him or not, it's a player grade upgrade.
Yeah.
Now you can play the guitar and it's going to perform properly, which that's how a guitar should work. And sometimes I'm going to be very careful with this, but sometimes Gibson doesn't build the greatest guitars in the world in their original design, and notably the headstocks that they're still building to this day. Need I say more? You can ask UPS about that. There we go. Getting the intonation almost done. We're almost done. We're almost in tune. A little bit flat. I'm going to go ahead and just make a little move here on all of these, because everything is flat. Sometimes intonation takes a while, especially when you're looking at other guitars. It's kind of interesting. Marky, I hope any of that stuff may have helped you. And there are certainly other guys on here who have worked on guitars. I don't know because I've never seen them work on a guitar, nor have I met any of the people that they talk about. But, you know, these guys, this guy that I was just visiting with, who, again, I call him my journeyman. One of the best guitar players I've ever had the pleasure of hearing play. And you can ask anyone in Northeast Oregon about his work, and you will hear nothing but accolades. He is amazing. And you know, it's interesting because just showing him a little photo of your guitar, he just almost immediately knew exactly what it was and has some experience with them. So pretty cool. I'm very blessed and lucky to have a person around that I can consult with that has that much history with guitar repair. We're all very lucky to have people like that around. I'd rather lean on the side, again, of being a little bit flat on the intonation versus being sharp. Now I've gone to the sharp. You've gone to the sharp side of the force, Luke. Something I haven't seen yet is The Mandalorian. I've seen some like what do I want to say? Little clips of it. It looks like they took Star Wars and turned it into Friends. Boy, that's not liking that. Sometimes if you have a hard time getting a pickup tuner to hear your note, it's a good idea to switch pickups. Or turn the tone all the way down. Sometimes the frequency that it's, I just turned the tone down on this thing. You'll notice how this thing's just wobbling, going, I mean, it's just absolutely inaccurate right now. I mean, it's not giving me any accurate reading. So we're way too sharp. Or start plucking the note really hard. Now, kind of a rule of thumb on intonation is that, there we go. Again, I like to lean on the side of being flat than being sharp. So, I think, I know that the owner of this guitar did some work on the neck on his own, and likely has oiled the fingerboard and such already. I'm going to turn that down a little bit because I don't want to blow your eardrums out. I know that my mic on my camera doesn't have any kind of balancing level volume, which I don't like to do. I keep having to mute and do my stupid job. Dude, you gotta work, man. You gotta work. Friends was a much better show. Okay, thanks, Justin. I haven't watched any of them. I don't watch television, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Of course, I watched the movie when I was 7 years old when it was released in movie theaters. So, I mean, Star Wars is in my humble opinion, the greatest movie ever made in my lifetime. And it beat The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, all of them. It was the greatest. But I tried Just like that a while ago. Sold it at a yard sale. Good for you. I used to have a blue Squire just like that a while ago. Sold it at a yard sale and stuff. Yeah. No, this, I think he bought this new. This is a brand new one. And on guitars like this, I don't typically take the time to check the serial number on it. It's such a, it's not a terribly valuable guitar, so. So let's it's weird for me to play a Strat without a whammy bar on it. This is a hardtail, which, you know, that's great, but I want to grab a whammy bar. I miss having a whammy bar on a Strat. All right, let's see, what should we do here for a riff to kind of check this? Let's do something kind of Dorian mode. pretty good. I gotta check something though, because I did find a problem with the pickup selector switch, and switching So that one is definitely, that one's, so I'm wondering about this second position. It almost seems like that is not making a change. So let's see what's happening here in the second. Why would that? It's a pickup select.
You got the switches, the pickups in the wrong spot and wired incorrectly, or he's changed one of them.
What's that? So
He either changed one of the pickups and wired it out incorrectly, or he's got them in the all. He's pulled them all and he's got them all in the wrong holes, and then he's wired it up to make it work. But the center, the out of phase one, is not in the center.
So he may have put this one, the neck, put the center pickup in the neck position. Is that possible?
I've seen that a lot. Yeah.
A lot? Yeah. I don't know if he, I don't know what all he did on this thing. Let me, we're gonna have to open it up and make sure. We can't have, because it's a Strat and it's got single coil pickups in it. What's happening here, if you listen to the amp noise, right? I'll turn it up so you can hear how nasty a Strat is. And he's shielded the interior of this thing. But in this, let me get this camera. So the second should be silent right now. It should be like that versus that. We've got noise and so that's the neck pickup. Now this should be both of them, and it is, but it's almost like this pickup is in backwards. So this could be a multitude of things, I guess. Let's dig in. Let's figure out what's going on with it. I don't want to give this guitar back to him and have that happening. So, and I did have to, so this, the plot thickens. Oh boy. Oh, looper's so bad. Dude, loopers are, dude, buy a Ditto looper. Just a simple one. Or buy a Tone Master Pro and then you have a looper built into it that is just wicked. But yeah, loopers really are a lot of fun. I only use mine anymore. I do use mine in lessons once in a while with students so that I can have some solid rhythm guitar playing. Some of my students can't play rhythm guitar real well, but I don't sit here and just noodle around with it. But dude, for doing stuff for testing a guitar, yeah, man, dude. Yeah, Robbie, I think you're just a few years older than me. I would have been 7 when Star Wars came out, and oh my God, dude, whoa, life-changing. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pull the pick guard off of this thing because I know that there's a problem with how the electronics in this are wired up, and so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Sometimes we have to. It seems like he maybe had changed the. Yeah, he definitely pulled the pick guard off of this because he's got the whole interior of it. The pick guard is shielded on the back side using copper tape, and he bought copper tape on my advice, and I'm really glad that he did it. But hopefully. And also, when I started working on this, the 1 and 2 positions were backwards, meaning the neck pickup and the bridge pickup were wired. So I think that I've got the it may be that the bridge or the middle position pickup, sorry, is connected to the wrong pole piece. Let's find out, but I'm gonna have to get out my soldering gun. Now here's the other thing is that Stu can look at this and he'll go, yep, there's a problem, which I can't really do that, not just by looking at it. He could also build you a deluxe reverb out of spare parts at Radio Shack from memory. Fuck the schematic, right? Okay, let's see. I'm hoping I can get this out of here without having to pull strings. I think I can. I don't have a lot of room on the. Oh, I saw it. Ah, didn't lose it, and it didn't fall in my pocket this time, Jam Pro. You'd be shocked how many times I've been pulling. Oh, sorry, I can point you down here at the work. Oh. Let's see. Yeah, the spare parts. I need to get that out of here. There's so much stuff I have on here that I need to get rid of. I have no idea what that's for. I probably bought it to convert something at some point. Okay, so let's get in here. Let's see what's going on. Can it? Will it? All right. Come on. Let me get my coffee out of the way. So,
this is the center pickup. That's why it's doing it.
Oh, they're wired back. This is backwards.
This should be in this position, and this one should be in this position. And so, and then he's put the wires in the wrong spots, of course, to make it work. But this one's supposed to be in the middle because it's, as a rule, most companies are smart enough to make a color code difference for the center pickup.
So swap them out.
You switch these, and you'll have to switch the wires.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna swap the pickups first and see. I'm pretty good at working on guitars, but he is beyond good.
Because it is humbucking in this position, but it's not doing it in this position because this pickup needs to go there, and then this will still humbuck, and this will still humbuck. Once you switch those
two. So I need to switch the bridge in the middle position, and I need to do. What about the direction? Do one of them need to flip 180?
No, that's the old school way, and that's usually what people do. They just leave them like that because it will not make a difference as far as a humbucking effect if it's this way or that way.
So just take them and switch them and leave them in the same orientation.
This one I'd probably turn it around so it's pointing that way, and this
leave that one,
and then I'd point that.
That's
one.
What I was gonna say, because these usually are all pointed the same.
The only reason they do that is because it's a traditional thing. Vintage Strats had them that way.
Okay.
This one has the big humbucker cut out, so you could just leave it, just move them over and it's all good. But I would turn them. I'd probably turn that one.
Flop the center position on so that all of the bases are pointed the same direction. Correct.
Well, that's what a lot of people do on the humbucker models. I usually on the bridge pickup, regardless what, I point the leads that way. But that was just because of old school traditional Strats are that way.
Okay.
It's just an old traditional thing.
Yeah, and it seems like
because this doesn't have oddball saddles. These are consistently radiused, so I think you'd be all right either way.
Okay, so there's that one.
Of course, the wires are tighter than a banjo string, aren't they?
Of course, yeah. They didn't give me any extra wire on the output to get to the output jack. Let me get these springs. This is going to be really fun. Okay. Oh, sorry. You're pointed right at my face. Here we're working down here, and like they gave us that much wire on the output jack, so. Flipping it around like this, you get backwards, so you got to be really careful not to mess something up. And he definitely pulled the pickups out of here because the way I know that is because there's copper wire under the pickups. So he may have just made the mistake of...
it's a common mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do. Okay, so... come out of there. Boy, that one's... they should have put a longer screw in that one, I think. Okay, so I've got all my springs, my pickups out of there. Okay, yeah, and of course one of the covers fell off. So, let me see, how do I... gotta You gotta twist it around again, just because they don't give you. It's not like Fender could add 3 inches of wire onto there. That would cost them a small fortune, right? That would be way too expensive. So this one will go here.
Correct.
Like that. This one will go here like that. All the little things. And then this one will go here like that, correct?
One thing you're going to have to watch is that you're going to have to actually lift it up and get this underneath and around that.
Yeah.
And that's a common thing that I've seen also in my travels.
Twisted.
Make myself mad at
See if I put a ding in the paint. God, I hope I didn't scratch the paint right there. I mean, I can polish it out. No one would know, but... Okay, so there... Yeah, there we go. And it'd be nice if these wires were twisted. So we may disconnect that pickup. Okay, so now pickup selector switch. If I change, okay, so the pickups are now not wired correctly. Yeah, so that was why. I'm going to swap these 2 wires and we should be back to normal. Oh boy. Okay. Boy, this is taking a lot longer than I had expected. These 2 wires I think are backwards because I switched them yesterday. So, that's why I had to switch them. That totally makes sense. Does that look normal? Robbie, you got any input? Falco, hey man. Dude, it's great to see you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so I'm heating up my soldering gun. We'll swap these 2 pull pieces out. And I don't have my solder sucker again. My solder sucker has vanished. And it's surprisingly vanished when somebody else was working at my bench using my tools. It's really irritating that I don't have that. I could really use that right now. I'm looking to see if I can find it. Because I had 3 or 4 of them here. I'm gonna go look one other spot. I had 3 of them here, and now I don't have any. I'm gonna look one spot here. Hopefully. Yeah, so, God. Forgive me for being a little annoyed here. I just, so I'm going to have to order a new solder sucker. So I'm not going to be able to clean these pulls off. And I had to do this yesterday already, not realizing that the pickups had been reversed. So hopefully this will solve it. But also, I would love to, I like to have these wires just twisted together to try and help the noise factor, but I think at this point I'm not going to bother doing that, at least not right now. God, I hope I didn't ding that paint on this guitar. There we go. I'm thinking out loud. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. What in the hell? Yeah. Yeah, and everybody, our buddy, my friend, the Falco, has been on a job hunt recently. He wants to supplement his income a little bit because his cost of living went up considerably recently, and just wish him the best of luck. on his job hunt, and that he finds something that will be financially rewarding and hopefully, oh, look at that. And hopefully that's fun, not only financially rewarding, but mentally rewarding also. I'm hoping just find a job that you absolutely love is tough. It is tough to accomplish in this day and age. I feel so blessed and lucky, and I hope that everyone, I'm gonna have to do a lefty solder here. There we go. Okay, now let us see if that, whoop, that just popped off of there, because they don't give you enough room for the output jack, and I actually might okay, so that's neck and middle silent, middle and bridge. Okay, we're wired up correctly, I believe. But before I do this, I just want to go to my neck position, double check. Yep. Neck and middle. And it's humbucking and middle. Alright, so that was it. So when the young man who owns this guitar, let me turn the amp off. The young man who owns this guitar swapped out, or he insulated the pick guard, and he swapped these two pickups. So he wanted it wired up, and when I found one other problem with this initially, I'm going to get my soldering gun out of the way, I'm going to burn myself. I found one other, that I switched those pickups, switched these wires, but in fact they were wired correctly. It was just that the pickups were reversed. And it wasn't very smart of me, but I never claimed to be the sharpest tack in the drawer, right? Or the box, or what is it? Sharpest tack. Sometimes we underestimate the amount of things that could possibly go wrong when you're working on something like this. I like to put the springs in this direction. Kind of hard to do with the pickup already in there, but there we go. Now, because Fender was so generous, in fact, okay, that wire is coming out right now. Because, you know, and the reason I'm going to replace this wire is because I'm thinking about the next guy that has to work on this guitar, which it's me. So I don't want to have to deal with this again. It's just astonishing what guitar companies will do to save a few cents and make stuff to service. I mean, Leo designed these guitars so they could be worked on, and they do shit like that. This is ridiculous. I know I've got some, oh, let's see. Oh, look at there. Is that it? This came out of another instrument at some point in time. Okay, so we're gonna just make this right, because apparently in Indonesia they don't have enough wire to make it long enough so that somebody can work on the instrument more than once, I guess. So I gotta get my soldering gun out again, fire it back up. So before I do that, because I can't work on this thing like that, it's just a bummer. I'm sure you've encountered that before. BCG! I love wiring. I do. I truly love wiring. Just what's annoying about it is when the wire is too short, and it's just like, who would be that stupid? That is really stupid, and I don't like insulting people, but this is stupid. I mean, since it's an insult to hardworking people. Yeah, I do too. I love soldering. You read my shirt. Well, that should be said by every Christian and every other human being in the world. I mean, what Christianity has become and religion, the Bible is all that. It's all not what... Anyway, there's enough of that. Okay. Yeah, I love this shirt too. It's unfortunate that it's not listened to, you know? Okay, so, I'm missing a pair of those pliers. So, this tool right here, one of the greatest tools in the history of guitar repair. I have almost ruined these. They don't have probably much time left in their service life. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now we're getting this hunk of junk out of here. Screwdriver. A lot of extra work for fixing something that Fender should have done at the factory. This is astonishing. Now remember also with this, I did repair the output jack already, and I was aware that that wire was a little bit short, but I also wasn't aware that I was going to have to take this apart again right now, and probably should have done it then. And it's got the ground from the bridge, but they used a piece of wire that long, right? Okay, so we did repair this already, but now we're going to really repair it. I said parrot. Okay. Now again, my solder sucker would be really nice to have. Okay, so basically exact same piece of wire, right? Only watch this. Watch this. How about that much extra? There we go. And then I have enough left over for another guitar that'll need this done, because this is not the last Fender I'm going to work on that has that piece of wire in it too short. Right? Okay. So you strip this end of it. I love doing wiring work. I mean, I really do. It is fun. It can be a little frustrating when you have to fix really pretty dumb stuff like this, but okay, so now here's the other thing, is that I did this yesterday or Friday on my live stream, working on this guitar, but I'm going to do it again. This wire is absolutely tiny. Whew. Hey, just so you know, my soldering gun's pretty hot. I usually set it to a pretty high temperature when I'm soldering. Now, let's see. I want my lead, my signal to go to the tip.
You finally made it easier on yourself by unhooking it.
Yeah, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so what I do when I do this, is I make damn certain that the ground wire can't touch the lead. So I've left some lead on that, and I take the ground wire, and I'm gonna, again, the solder sucker would be nice, but somebody borrowed it and didn't put it back, so I think so I've got to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna tap this on my bench so I can knock all the solder out of it. I think I did this yesterday too. Another little trick of soldering: if you need to get some solder out of a post, heat it up, tap it on the, and you got a nice clean terminal. Okay, so I'm pushing this ground wire through there. Oops. And you also, when you're doing this, you want to make damn certain that there aren't a bunch of little straggler hair. Ooh, look at what I just did. All right, so now I have to start over again. I over twisted that, so we'll pull this back out. Okay. Dang nabbit. Okay, so let's see. I'm sorry about this. Usually doesn't take this long, so I'm only gonna open up just a little bit of this. I don't need much of the ground. Okay. Now I know I have plenty of wire sticking out here, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this extra bit off. Now I've just shortened the wire by another, I don't know, half an inch maybe. Okay, so these strands are very, very tiny, so you got to be really careful and not over wrap them. All right, so I know I've got that nice and tidy, and I'm gonna pre-solder, tin the ground. All right, okay. Now I'm gonna strip this, and we'll get on with it. Move on to getting this guitar fixed finally. And this wire is so tiny that you can pretty much just strip it with your fingernails. Okay, there's that. All right. We got tip or signal. Now, don't forget the ground wire from the bridge. Okay, I know it's there. I will solder it too. Okay. Whew. I'm really not doing the greatest soldering job here. There we go. Okay, now I know that I've got a really good solder joint there, and again, I'm going to pull this over so that I don't have, there's no way that the ground wire can touch the signal wire, which was what was happening to this guitar the other day when I was working on it, and I fixed that already, but now I got to fix it again just because we're going to work on it again. All right, now I'm doing this over the top of the guitar. I know you can't see. Holy smokes, that's not my camera pointed, is it? What's going on here? Almost looks like, oh, there we go. Oh yeah, so there's huge latency. Let me refresh this window. Hugh Caldwell, holy smokes. I haven't seen Hugh in a while, man. It's been a minute. Okay, all right, here we go. I'm doing the same old stuff, Hugh. Probably same as you. I hope you're doing well, brother. It's been a long time. Yeah. Been a long time, bro. Okay, there we got a nice solder joint. Okay, there's that. And so, oops, you know what I should have done? Oh well. I should have pushed that through the hole first, but we'll get it. Because I can see that it came through from this side, so we'll just do the same thing. Hopefully. I may have to cut the end of this wire off again. Nope. Look at that. I got it. I got it. I'm good. Man, I'm good. Okay. That's what she said, right? Okay, so I've got a little extra bits of wire poking through here, and it's not typically a good idea to be trimming off after you've soldered, but in this case, I think I had to do this yesterday also, or the last time I fixed this, but we'll get these extra traces of wire off of there so that we have a nice looking solder joint. Everything looks good. Now let's plug it in, make sure it works. Oh wait, it won't work just yet. We've got to hook it up to this end, right? I know, getting ahead of myself. Alright, let's tin my it's kind of interesting to watch other people solder, because sometimes I'm cringing and ooh, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And also keep in mind that I think in my lifetime I've plumbed somewhere around 800 houses. So if you do the math, 800 houses, let's see, how many solder joints? Back when they could use copper before people were stealing it from the home sites. There we go. Way too much solder. If I had a solder sucker, it wouldn't have turned out like that, but mine got misplaced. Let's see if it works. Should work. Oh yeah, listen to all that wonderful noise.
Buy switch one of the pickups too. That's not too bad, but it's a harder pickup and it needs to be
Well,
needs
they're
to
not
be in there, yeah.
They're not in the position really.
Oh yeah, that's way better, yeah. Golden.
Yeah, we're fixed. Okay. All right, let's I love that.
My favorite sound.
That's one of my favorite sounds ever. Okay, so I think I'm done soldering. I only say I think because who knows what we could find next. Because I get it all back together again and something won't work, right? No, I'm joking. That is totally not how it goes for me. Never happens. That never, ever happens to me. Okay, so I'm going to pull a little bit of that through. Get that wire out of the way. Screws. I had to fill these holes. Both of these holes were stripped. You guys, when you're working on guitars, when you're putting these little pick guard screws and output jacks, you really be gentle with them. Just when they stop turning them. That's good. Most guys would go like 4 turns more than that, or at least the Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's done. That's it. That's all you got to do. Okay, got that out of the way. You don't know how many of those screw holes in guitars that I've worked on don't work, because the screw hole was stripped out by somebody who thought they needed to. They thought they were working on a motor in a tugboat. Or sorry, not a motor, an engine in a tugboat. Let's be politically correct. It's an engine. It's not a motor in a boat. Am I correct on that? Okay, let's get this in here. Get the spring loaded. Oop, here we go. Now look, I got plenty of room to move this pick guard around and work on it because I made the wire longer.
That's amazing.
Isn't that incredible? How many times have you had to do that, Stu?
It's pointless. They'll put them so short that they're just, it's not effective.
I wonder how sometimes when they're so short like that, how in the world did they ever get it?
Yeah, they probably soldered the jack last, and that's probably all they could do to keep the wire from pulling through the hole.
Okay, and that goes that direction. Yeah, got to be careful not to flop them. And also, these screws or these springs are kind of short. And forgive me if you can't see, my camera guy, he started drinking about 10 o'clock this morning, so he can't keep up with me. I'm going to see if I can find a set of different pickup springs. Well, I'll be dipped. Look at that. They don't match, but they're the same length, and they're a little bit longer. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use these springs instead of the ones that were in it. Just these are kind of short. It almost looks like in fact, I know he lost one and cut one in half. That's what happened. So we'll just use these ones because they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And I like to go the opposite direction that most guys go. Again, I hope everybody's having a great Monday. If you like what you're seeing, hit the thumbs up. And I did set a goal for a couple of super chats today, because know that if you do send a super chat my direction, that I will actually get the money from that. Not all of it. PayPal is a much better way to support YouTube channels, because the creator gets all of the money that you send them, but you don't get all that recognition that you sent them money on YouTube. But PayPal gets the content creator all of the money that you give them. If you don't mind giving 30% of what you hope to give the channel, go ahead and do a super chat. That's always a welcome thing, and I do welcome any of those, and I'm really grateful for them. Let's see. I got to, oops. I need to.
You always do like little Fender did. Use butcher tape to tape the leads together.
Like, what was it? Just masking tape?
Yeah, it's kind of a butcher's tape. It's kind of a real lightweight masking tape. They used a lot of it on the old Fenders.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to do that on this one. This is just going to be a pain in the neck. These have been tweaked so much now that the wires are just kind of errant running in here. A little bit of tape doesn't cost much, right? But sticking tape to wax is not the easiest thing in the world, but we're going to go ahead and do it. That'll hold that. Might hold that in place long enough for me to get this. No, it won't. Tape does not stick to wax real well.
Unfortunately.
Okay, that was one real mess right there. There we go. It doesn't have to be pretty under there, guys. It just has to be tidy and beautiful. Not pretty, beautiful. There we go. And look at that. I think I got one piece of wire giving me a little hang up right here someplace. Where are you? There you are. There. Okay. Let's screw this down. Come on. I know this has been a lot longer stream than I had expected to do today, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Start working on a guitar and you just find, see, I get nice really tight. You notice how I'm using my 15. Got to set your chuck to 15 so that you get these screws in tight enough that that they won't come loose. And that one's always stripped on every guitar ever made. Never use power tools on an electric guitar. And for the reasons that I've already stated with guys Arnold Schwarzenegger and these screws, that's why I don't recommend to people that they use power tools on screws. But if you do that, use this because it's there for a reason. I know a lot of guys aren't aware that they can adjust that. It's kind of like a volume knob on their guitar. It goes to 10 and it never moves. This, you know, that's usually guys will have it set there and they'll drive a screw into the wood and then the guitar is kind of messed up. Okay, let's see. I think we're all done with that. Let's put the pickup selector switch back on here. That stays on nicely. All right, we might be getting close. We just might be getting really close on this one. Let's get you pointed back up in the air. And forgive me for not keeping up on the chat, you guys. I ran into something on this thing that I was not expecting. And, whoops. And I'm gonna have to fix that one. So I want to get this thing done. I'm guessing it's dang near time for me to go eat lunch.
It's after time for you to go eat lunch.
It is. Good Lord.
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to take a quick lunch today. Our fearless leader's been out, and say a good word for Mike. He hasn't been feeling well, so. If you're the praying type, say a nice prayer for Mike. I'm cool with that. We're almost done. Almost. I am hungry. What time is it?
It's about 20 after 2.
Okay. And you need to do your...
I'll be alright because Jackson's coming in, but you take your lunch and then I'll do mine real quick.
Is he coming in today?
I
Jackson?
told him to come in around 3.
Oh, okay.
So they could just watch the counter while I run across the street. And I couldn't remember if he had lessons or not today, so.
What's that?
Couldn't remember if you had lessons or not.
I need to check.
Al's day, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, Al has lessons at like 4. I think I have a student at 5 on Mondays.
Oh, we'll be way past
Let's see.
yeah, take your lunch, that's the main thing.
Jeff, I'll have to call Jeff back. Amplifier question. Specifically, I don't believe the reverb is working on my box. AC15. See, is it possible to replace that tank? And if so, is it hard? I'll do it for you. Probably not the tank. Gotta restretch. Oh, there we go. Whew. All right, I think we're about done with this one. I'm hoping. I'm gonna have to clean a little bit on this thing, and I won't do that during the live stream. Got some wax on the finish from the pickups. They're wax dipped. But I think we're almost done, you guys. Hugh, I am reducing my guitar collection. What? Oh, I like the old surgical tubing method. That way you never know where it'll fail. Sean, you're welcome, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day. These Music Lily machine heads came with a Music Lily pick, so we might as well try it. And let's see what this thing sounds like now that we have the pickups wire. Now, I haven't adjusted the pickup height. I will do that here in a moment, and we will call it done. Quiet, loud, quiet, loud, quiet. Now it's like a Fender. All right, so we know that's all good. Let's go ahead and set our pickup height, and then we will call it a day here, and I can go eat some lunch because I am starving, you guys. I'm really, really hungry. Let's see if I can... There we go. That was a little bit too close. Just a little. Tiny moves, sneak up on it. Let's see, this one. I am going to recheck the string height, because having to do all that stuff can move when you loosen stuff up like that. 3, alright, that one's way too far away. These two I'm definitely going to have to readjust, but I'm fretting it at the final fret, and I'm measuring from the pole piece to the bottom of the string to get this pickup height exactly right. There we go. And we'll go over this one. It's still a little bit low. Oops, I think I just moved it way too far. Oh no, look at that, I'm perfect. Alright, this one's too close. So we're going to drop this down. Now when you move one side, the other side always moves, so it's a good idea to double check. 4 30 seconds, and we're at 6 30 seconds, so and they're still a little bit too low, so ooh, good grief. That was not the guitar, that was my bench. Good grief, I'm butterfingers today. And I think I'm hungry. I should probably go get something to eat. Like working with power tools when you're tired. That's pretty dumb. Especially if I'm doing it. 3. That one's a little bit too high. Still a little bit too high. Jeez, like a bull in a china shop today. There we go. There we go. All right, I'll play it for just a moment, and then we're gonna reel this one in. Music Lily guitar pick. Let's see if I can break it. All right. Yeah. mission accomplished.
All right.
Finally. I know. Come on. There we go. Let's just see what it sounds like clean. I think it needs a little tuning. Yeah, clean. After all that playing, the thing got sharp. And I tune it on the snark, and it's, I mean, that's tuning it. What the snark's telling me it's in tune. I do not trust these things at all. Still doesn't sound in tune. That's flat. Yeah, I sure wish I knew what happened to my old tuner. It was so accurate. It had a little piece of green foam on it that put on there years ago. I had that thing for 8 years, and it vanished over the weekend when I was gone. It's probably in somebody's guitar case at a gig someplace. And okay, I'm gonna put this thing away. I'm tired of looking at it. Boy, Hugh, dude, it's really great to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Forgive me for not chatting much. I trying to get this thing done. That's a lot of time to put into a guitar. I mean, if think about it, if Jerry Rosa had been working on this and what he charges. That repair just today would have been way more than what the guitar costs. But sometimes that's what it takes. When others have worked on guitars, you don't know what's been done. So you fix one thing and you don't know that something else. It's just the way it goes. It's like working on a car or a toilet as a plumber or a mechanic. You don't know what the homeowner has done, and usually guys working on their own guitars just don't necessarily do everything right. Let's see. ESP Viper. Yeah, okay. You guys, I appreciate your time spending with me. I did not reach my goal today. I set a goal for 2 super chats for $2. And I didn't achieve it, but I'm sure if I had a tank top and had those parts, I probably would have achieved that today. I wish I did, but I could probably make a living on YouTube. But so what? I still get to share. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw today. And you guys have a really great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. I'm going to end things right now. Hugh, it was great to see you again. It's been a minute, dude. Jam Pro, Falcro, Independent, Sean, Robbie, Richard, again, let's see. And let me think of who else was here. I think Joe McGraw was here earlier. It's great to see you guys. Have a great day.